Kaspa holders, welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel. You guys know this is going to be an interesting update. If you've been following the channel, you guys know what we've been talking about. So let's waste no more time and take a look at what's happening with Caspa, which again is the top gainer right now in the top 100 coins. Again, over the last 24 hours, as you can see for yourself, Caspa's price up 21%. We also saw market seeing an uptick. Bitcoin broke out above $91,000. Again, as far as our timeline is concerned, so far everything we've been projecting, it has been coming to life. Again, you guys can watch my updates. You guys know what I've been talking about. What are my overall forecast? We're just below the 0.50 fib zone, but anyways, Caspa is what we want to be talking about right now. Like I said, it's having an amazing day, and if you look at it on a weekly time frame, it's up 41.3%, guys. Yes, that is correct. I know Caspa holders are specifically the ones that were picking up Caspa while the broader market was seeing significant amount of retracement, are really happy at this point because Caspa is doing amazing. But let's take a closer look and see what's happening. Before we do that, as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So the price of Caspa, there we have it, 6 cents. And like I said, if you watch the updates every single day, this is a level I spoke to you guys about. 6 cents. And will you look at that? That's exactly where the price of Caspa is currently sitting. It's also up 15.7% on the Bitcoin side of things. Valuation $1.6 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at about 111.8 million. But as always, just a quick disclaimer: anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. I apologize if I said that twice, but very, very important to note. But let's take a look at what's going on with the Bitcoin dominance. So this is what we want to be paying very close attention to. So the dominance has seen a major uptick over the last few hours. You can see we were just literally sitting at 58.48%, and you can see we've seen a major uptick for the dominance. Again, a level that we focus very closely on. But what also ended up happening is Bitcoin did see a bounce as well, because let's say Bitcoin saw like a downside, and dominance picked up the way it did. Guess what would have happened to altcoins? Altcoins would have been down quite substantially in that case. So when you see the dominance going up the way it has, even if Bitcoin were to make its way towards the upside, you'll still see the overall market react to the Bitcoin move, but you're not going to see the altcoins outpace Bitcoin in a massive way like what we usually see. But in this specific case, as far as Caspa is concerned, you do tend to see a few coins that don't really care about the dominance in the immediate short term. Obviously, in a grand scheme of things, dominance is always an important tool, but sometimes you do see a decoupling for a short time. And right now, with what's happening with Caspa, I could say that because a handful of coins are outpacing the overall market. You could see for yourself: SPX coin, Caspa, I would say Maker also is up, Sky coin. But other than that, all the other coins averaging about 3 to 4%, give or take. Again, these are the things that we don't want to be forgetting, but that doesn't mean, I want you guys to keep this in mind, that does not mean you're going to see a continuation of where Caspa is just going to not be dependent on Bitcoin or the dominance. That's something I want to pretty much have you guys realize. But take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is pretty much on the neckline of the 0.50 fib zone. Again, a level we've been speaking about quite clearly. As you guys know, I've been quite content on this target, and I've been talking to you guys about how the price of Bitcoin has been holding up quite strong. And, a clear indication was the fact that, the price of Bitcoin was remaining above $86,000. And you could see for yourself, yesterday we did see a nice bounce of about 6% for Bitcoin, and Caspa reacted in a really positive way to that. Regardless of the dominance going up or not, Caspa still holding up really good. And if you look at it on a daily time frame, there we have it, guys. We have gone up to the 6 cents price point. You can literally watch my recent updates. Even when we were around here, we were talking about how we could reclaim back above 6 cents. And now, if you want to put this into perspective, after retesting this support, significant support around the 3.5 cents for Caspa. Again, we have not seen the price of Caspa at this key range since, here, see for yourself. Let me kind of pull out the charts for you. So last time the price of Caspa was at around this price point dates back to September 3rd, 2023, more than 2 years ago. So since then, if you had some buy orders placed in around here, you saw Caspa jump up 71%. And what's interesting here is this was our monthly, high for October. You could see for yourself, and then of course the overall market tumbled towards the downside, and Caspa is obviously not an exception. Caspa retraced down quite significantly, but you could see for yourself now that 6 cents resistance is playing out, of course, as a hurdle. If this is able to break out, we could push up to 6.5 cents, I think, quite easily, because that would be the next major key resistance. And again, we have not been above that key range pretty much since early October. But if you want to put this into perspective, that's in move additional of about 10% from where we currently are. So I like what we're seeing here as far as Caspa kind of consolidating and finding a ground for itself. It has done exactly that. Take a look at it on an hourly time frame. Obviously, when we saw this uptick on the 25th, where we retested 5.3 cents, Caspa did exactly what you want to see it do. Hold above this key range, kind of consolidate, and boom, beautiful, beautiful setup here. If you want to put this move into perspective from yesterday, we saw an additional increase of 22% over the last 24 or 24 hours alone. But with that said, if you got in around this key range and you're looking at your portfolio, you keep refreshing the portfolio, it's too much money that you cannot afford to lose, then lock some profits. And simple as that. Obviously, if you're in for the long haul, and you want to hold until potentially the price get back up to some of these key levels, especially where we were back in July or onwards, then patience is your number one key to follow. But you also need to understand the risk factor associated to it. Also need to understand that Caspa is one of the coins that has lower liquidity. You do tend to see more swings on this, and that's a clear pattern, as you can see across the board. I can literally point out so many different examples of that. Take a look at it for yourself. Major swings right here, major swings for Caspa, and that is due to low liquidity. But so far so good. Like what we're seeing here. Definitely an amazing price action on Caspa's side. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think. Thank you so much for all the love. Please subscribe if you have not done so already. Hit the bell icon so you're notified every time we upload. And with that said, we'll see you later. It's been Crypto ZX, and peace out.